Think about the last time you worried about something: your health, your future, your finances, or your relationships. How did it feel? Tight chest, racing thoughts, a sense of helplessness? Now let me ask you this. Did worrying change anything? Did it bring you closer to the life you want? The truth is, worry is nothing more than rehearsing failure. It's playing a movie in your mind where things go wrong over and over again until you start to believe that's your destiny. But here's what you need to understand. Your thoughts don't just reflect your reality, they create it. The science of worry, how we get stuck. When you worry, your brain fires the same neural circuits repeatedly, strengthening the habit of fear. Your body floods with stress hormones, and before you know it, you're addicted to that emotional state. Even when there's nothing to worry about, your mind searches for something. Sound familiar? But here's the problem. When you stay stuck in stress and fear, you close the door to new possibilities. You tune into the frequency of your past rather than the infinite potential of your future. The power of trust, breaking free from worry. So how do we break free? How do we stop the cycle? The answer is simple, but not always easy. You must learn to trust. Trust in what? Trust in the unseen. Trust in the unknown. Trust that life is always conspiring in your favor. Most people think trust is something you feel after you see results, but that's not how the universe works. You don't wait to see the evidence before you believe. You believe first, and then the evidence appears. Living beyond the known, the leap of faith. Every great breakthrough, every incredible transformation happened because someone was willing to step beyond their comfort zone. They trusted before they had proof. The truth is, your future, the version of you that is abundant, healthy, and free, already exists in the quantum field. Your job is to align with that future version of yourself. Not by wishing, not by hoping, but by emotionally experiencing it before it happened. Final shift, the challenge to the audience. So here's my challenge to you. Stop giving your energy to a future you don't want. Stop rehearsing failure. Stop worrying. Instead, start trusting. Start conditioning your mind and body for the life you do want. Because when you trust, when you surrender the need to control, when you let go of fear, you make space for the extraordinary. And that's where the magic happens. A call to action, inspire change. Right now, at this moment, you have a choice. You can keep living in the past, recycling the same worries, or you can step into a new future. Decide today, this moment, to trust. Because the life you want isn't waiting for you somewhere down the road. It's waiting for you to believe. Worry is a habit, a deeply ingrained pattern that the mind becomes addicted to over time. It starts small, a passing concern about the future, a lingering doubt about an outcome. But as we repeatedly focus on these thoughts, we reinforce neural circuits in the brain that make worry our default state. The body doesn't just respond to our external environment, it also responds to the emotions we consistently feel. When we worry, our brain sends signals that trigger stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, putting us in a state of fight or flight. At first, we believe we are simply reacting to life's uncertainties, but over time, worry becomes an automatic response. Even when there is nothing immediate to stress about, the mind searches for something to latch on to. It scans for potential threats, replays past mistakes, and imagines worst-case scenarios. This constant loop of fear keeps us locked in survival mode, making it difficult to see new opportunities or create the future we desire. Like any addiction, worry provides a false sense of control. We believe that by anticipating problems, we are somehow preparing ourselves, but in reality, we are just reinforcing a state of fear. The more we indulge in worry, the more normal it feels until we can't imagine life without it. But here's the truth. Worry changes nothing except our energy, our health, and our ability to create a better future. It robs us of the present moment and keeps us anchored to a reality we don't want. Breaking free from worry requires awareness. We must recognize it as a learned pattern rather than an inevitable part of life. It is a choice, not a necessity. The moment we stop feeding it with our attention, we begin to reclaim our power. Instead of defaulting to stress, we can train ourselves to lean into trust, shifting from survival mode to creation mode. And when we do that, everything changes. Every thought you think is like a signal being broadcasted into the field of possibility, shaping the reality you experience. Most people believe their thoughts are just reactions to life, but in truth, their thoughts are actively creating it. Every time you think a thought, your brain releases a cascade of neurochemicals that generate an emotional response. If you think about a past failure, your body will respond with feelings of disappointment or regret. If you imagine a future filled with stress, your body will begin preparing for that stress as if it's already happening. Your thoughts don't just stay in your head, they condition your body to live in a certain emotional state, reinforcing that state as your reality. This is why so many people feel stuck in the same cycles. If you wake up every day and think the same thoughts, you will feel the same emotions, make the same choices, and ultimately create the same experiences. Your brain is designed to prove you right. If you constantly think about problems, your mind will filter the world to find more of them. If you dwell in fear, your body will remain in stress, preventing you from seeing possibilities beyond your current limitations. The longer you think and feel the same way, the more your identity becomes tied to those emotions, and before you know it, you aren't just experiencing stress, you are stress. But just as negative thoughts shape reality, so do positive ones. The moment you shift your focus and start thinking in alignment with the future you desire, your body begins to respond in a new way. If you wake up and deliberately choose gratitude, confidence, or joy, even before there's external proof, your body starts to believe it's already living in that future. Over time, this new emotional state rewires your brain, opening you to opportunities and outcomes you previously couldn't perceive. The key is consistency. You cannot wait for your environment to change before you think differently. You must think differently first, and the environment will follow. When you learn to master your thoughts, you no longer live as a victim of your circumstances. You become the creator of your reality, shaping your life with intention rather than reaction. The future isn't something you wait for, it's something you design with every thought you choose to entertain. Most people fear the unknown because it represents a lack of control. The human brain is wired for predictability, constantly searching for patterns, routines, and certainty to create a sense of safety. But in this obsession with certainty, we often trap ourselves in the past, repeating the same experiences over and over again. We cling to what is familiar, even if it limits us, because stepping into the unknown feels risky. Yet paradoxically, the unknown is where all transformation, growth, and new possibilities exist. Think about it. If your current way of thinking, feeling, and acting has created the reality you're living now, then the only way to experience something different is to step beyond what is familiar. The unknown is not something to be feared, it is the space of pure potential. It is the field of infinite possibilities where new experiences, insights, and breakthroughs are waiting for you. When you resist it, you stay confined to the same path. When you embrace it, you open the door to something greater than what you've known. Most people wait for external proof before they believe in a better future. They want guarantees before they take the leap. But that's not how transformation works. Trusting the unknown means being willing to step forward without seeing the whole path. It means realizing that just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. It just means you haven't aligned with it yet. The unknown is where your future self already exists, waiting for you to meet it. The greatest breakthroughs in history happened because someone was willing to embrace uncertainty. Every invention, every new idea, every major life transformation was born from someone choosing to trust in a future they could not yet see. If you can shift your mindset from fearing the unknown to seeing it as an opportunity, everything changes. Instead of anxiety, you feel excitement. Instead of hesitation, you feel curiosity. Instead of being stuck in old patterns, you begin to create something new. So the question is, will you keep resisting the unknown, clinging to the familiar, or will you step into the space where all possibilities exist and trust that life is unfolding exactly as it should? The unknown isn't your enemy, it's your greatest ally. Everything in the universe is energy, including you. Your thoughts, emotions, and intentions all carry a vibrational frequency that influences the reality you experience. If you are constantly stuck in stress, fear, doubt, or frustration, your energy reflects that state. You emit a signal that attracts more of the same experiences, reinforcing the very reality you want to escape. But the moment you shift your energy, you shift your life. Most people wait for external circumstances to change before they allow themselves to feel better. They believe that once they get the job, the relationship, the financial breakthrough, or the healing, then they will feel happy, peaceful, or fulfilled. But that's backward. Your external world is a reflection of your internal state. If you want to create a new reality, you must change your energy first. Every emotion you feel is a frequency. Gratitude, love, confidence, and joy exist at a higher vibrational state than fear, stress, or resentment. When you deliberately choose to embody elevated emotions before you see any evidence, you signal to your brain and body that you are already living in that future reality. And because energy is magnetic, you start attracting experiences, people, and opportunities that align with that new frequency. This isn't just about positive thinking. It's about embodying a new state of being. If you want to experience abundance, you must shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of trust and sufficiency. If you want to attract love, you must first radiate self-love and openness. If you want success, you must feel worthy of it before it arrives. The shift happens internally before it manifests externally. When you elevate your energy, you move beyond the limitations of your past. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. Your thoughts, emotions, and choices begin aligning with a future greater than your past experiences. And when that happens, life doesn't just change, it transforms. So the question is, what energy are you choosing to live in today? Because the energy you embody right now is shaping the life you will experience next. Shift your energy, and you shift your entire reality. Trust is not something you wait to feel. It's something you choose to embody even in the absence of certainty. Most people believe that trust comes after they see evidence, after things start working in their favor, after they have proof that everything will be okay. But that's not how trust works. Trust is a decision you make before the outcome is known. It is a commitment to believe in possibilities beyond your current circumstances, even when fear and doubt try to convince you otherwise. The reason trust feels difficult is that the brain craves predictability. It wants to see the whole path before taking a step. But real transformation doesn't come from staying in what's familiar. It comes from stepping into the unknown and trusting that life is unfolding exactly as it should. Trust is not about passivity or blind optimism. It's about choosing to align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the reality you want to experience, rather than the one you fear. Think about it. Every time you hesitate, second guess, or wait for external proof, you are reinforcing doubt instead of strengthening trust. You are telling yourself that the future is uncertain, that things might not work out, that you need guarantees before you move forward. But the most powerful shifts happen when you decide, without proof, without guarantees, that you will trust anyway, that you will believe in the unseen before it becomes seen, Trusting isn't about knowing how everything will happen, it's about knowing that it will. It's about surrendering the need to control every detail and instead focusing on the energy you are bringing into each moment. When you choose trust, you step out of fear and into creation. You move from survival mode to possibility. You align with a future that is waiting for you rather than staying trapped in past patterns. So the question is not whether you feel trust, it's whether you choose it. Because trust isn't something you stumble upon, it's something you practice. And the more you practice it, the more you realize that life was always conspiring in your favor. The version of you that is confident, abundant, healthy, and fulfilled already exists. It's not something you have to create from scratch. It's a reality that is already present in the field of possibilities, waiting for you to align with it. Most people think of the future as something distant, something they have to work tirelessly toward. But the truth is, the future are you tuning into? Your current state of mind, emotions, and behaviors determine which version of the future you are aligning with. If you keep thinking and feeling the same way you always have, you will continue to create the same reality. If you believe deep down that change is hard, that success is unlikely, or that happiness is conditional, you will unknowingly reinforce a future where those limitations exist. But if you begin to shift your energy, your thoughts, and your emotions to match the version of you that has already arrived at success, you start to step into that future now. Every time you imagine your ideal future, how it feels, how you think, how you act, you are strengthening the neural pathways that bring that reality closer to you. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is vividly imagined. When you emotionally and mentally embody the future you desire, you train your body to believe it's already happening. And when your internal world shifts, your external reality follows. This means that your job is not to wait for the future to come to you. It's to become the person who is already living that future. Make decisions as that version of yourself. Speak as that version of yourself. Show up in the world as that version of yourself. The moment you start being that person now, you collapse the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Your future self is not something far away. It is right here, right now, waiting for you to step into it. The only question is, are you ready to meet the person you were always meant to be? Stop worrying and start trusting. How much of your life have you spent worrying? Worrying about your future, your finances, your relationships, your health? You play out scenarios in your mind, imagining the worst outcomes, thinking that somehow by anticipating them you are preparing yourself. But let me ask you, has worry ever changed anything? Has it ever solved a problem? Has it ever made your life better? Worry is nothing more than an addiction, an endless loop of fear disguised as control. The more you entertain it, the more it becomes your default state. But here's the truth. Your thoughts don't just reflect your reality, they create it. If you live in fear, doubt, and stress, you will continue attracting experiences that reinforce those emotions. If you want a new life, you must make a radical shift. You must stop worrying and start trusting. The power of thought and energy. Every thought you think sends a signal to your body, creating an emotional response. When you constantly dwell on worst-case scenarios, your body doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. It responds as if those fears are actually happening, flooding your system with stress hormones and keeping you locked in survival mode. And when you live in survival mode, you cannot create, you cannot grow, you cannot move forward. You stay stuck, reliving the past, rehearsing the same limitations, telling yourself the same story of why things can't change. But the truth is, you have the power to shift your energy and align with an entirely different future. Stepping into the unknown, Most people fear the unknown. They cling to what's familiar, even if it limits them. But the unknown is where all possibilities exist. It is the space where new opportunities, breakthroughs, and transformations happen. If you want to create something new in your life, you must stop resisting the unknown and start trusting it. Trust is not a passive act. It is an active choice. It means surrendering the need for immediate proof and believing in a future before it arrives. It means conditioning your mind and body to feel gratitude, abundance, and confidence now, rather than waiting for external circumstances to give you permission. Because the moment you start embodying that energy, you begin attracting experiences that match it. The future you is already waiting. The version of you that is successful, happy, and fulfilled already exists in the quantum field. You don't have to struggle to create it. It's already there, waiting for you to step into alignment with it. But you can't get there by thinking the same way you always have. If you continue living in worry and fear, you will keep choosing actions that reinforce that reality. If you want a different future, you must start thinking, feeling, and acting like the person who is already living it. So ask yourself, what would my future self do? How would they think? How would they speak? How would they show up in the world? When you start making decisions as if you are already that person, the gap between where you are and where you want to be begins to disappear. Conclusion, the call to action. Right now you have a choice. You can continue worrying, doubting, and living in the same patterns, or you can choose to trust. Trust that the unknown is working in your favor. Trust that your thoughts have power. Trust that your future is not something you have to chase, it's something you must step into. Because the moment you shift your energy, you shift your life. The moment you believe in a new reality, you start creating it. And when you stop worrying and start trusting, that's when the extraordinary happens. So let today be the day you decide once and for all to let go of fear and step into the future that is already waiting for you.